The puppy starts playing with all the toys. That's good. Just check, make sure we go live on the. Yep, okay, we're live on the internet. Hooray! Hello, internet. Welcome back to Broken Bane. We have not played for over a month, and that's because I was moving, and I don't move very well. And my players were very kind and let me take some time off to get settled. I won't go into why that was a pain in the butt. If you want to know, ping me on Twitter, and I'll complain about it forever. However, today what we are going to do as we model certain situations for D&D, we have the opportunity to model for you tonight what it's like to get back into playing Dungeons & Dragons after you have not played for a while. I'm very nervous to get started again because I feel like as GM, when I get into a rhythm for running a game, that's my rhythm. Once I break the rhythm, I'm like, do people still want to play with me? That kind of thing. I get kind of nervous about that. And so I'm really happy that we're playing tonight. I had to sort of push myself. I kept running into technical difficulties, and I was like, well, maybe we don't have to play tonight because my camera won't work. Oh, no, I got the camera to work. Okay, well, the map looks funny, so we don't have to play it. I was like, nope, fix the map. Okay. And I realized I have to do it. I have to get back into this. So, I think the elements that went into being able to meet up again after a month, it was clear communication. I communicated to my players that I wouldn't be able to play for a while. I kept them updated when I still couldn't play after we thought we'd be back. I checked in with them to see if they were ready to play. Once everybody was ready to play, that's when we scheduled our time back. I'm coming to this cold. I have reread the notes from last session. I know the overall objective, but I have not prepped for this session. The reason I did that is I wanted to spend some time talking about how a group gets back into playing. So that's my GM perspective. And does anyone want to share how they're feeling about after not playing for a month?
As someone who has... Ooh, go ahead. Do it.
Okay. I mean, actually, for me, not playing for a month was a break that I really needed. Stuff got really busy at work, and I was DMing games for work, and also getting ready to do a one shot on Saturday live to the internet, which I haven't done before, or Sunday live. And so, like, having that break was helpful for me. But it also was really nice to have the push to get back in, to say, like, we're getting back in on this date. So I'm excited to be back.
Yeah. Work can get a little overwhelming, and I know that we've talked as a group about that before. Like, if it's gonna get a little consuming, we want to bring our. This is supposed to be fun. If it ends up being another thing you have to do, then that's not fun. So I'm glad you're excited to get back into it, though. Anybody else?
I know as a person who hasn't done a long-term campaign before, I was nervous because I haven't ever had to come back to something that I've packed up like we've done with this campaign temporarily.
Yeah.
But I'm excited because I am also not a person to take notes in the middle because then I'll lose track of what's actually happening.
Yeah.
So thanks to ADHD, I'm kind of coming in this very cold and excited to kind of review together and feel like I can get back into my character's brain.
Yeah. I take some very ridiculous notes. One of the notes I have next to one of your. So I just write the first initial for each of your character names, and in quotes, I have written down what's wrong with you, but no context. And I was like, where did this come from?
Oh, no.
If it's in quotes, one of you said it, and if it's next to like F, then Freya said it, but I don't have any context around it, so I don't know who. I can't find it in my notes right now, but I was looking at it and I was like, who did they say this to? I don't even know. Yeah, so my notes are a little haphazard. That'll be fun. Anybody else want to share?
Sure. I'm relatively new to like proper storytelling role playing, and this is only something that would actually help me for this game. But I went back and I listened to my character playlist that I built a while back
Oh, right.
for an hour earlier today, and that kind of got me back in the mindset for playing Yume. Like I said, even though I'm not very strong at role playing, in my opinion, it still helps me get back to that space, if nothing else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a character playlist is really interesting. What do you use to build a character playlist?
Spotify.
Oh, very cool. Do you mind sharing one of the songs that's on there? I think that would be really interesting.
The most obvious one is Umbrella by Rihanna.
Well, that makes sense, because you have a very interesting umbrella.
One of the most fitting ones.
We've got some fun people in chat. We GamerDoc's in there, and so is Celesma, who's they're both very neat humans. Thank you for the follow. Does anybody else have a character playlist? I've never built one. I have real life playlists to do things like calm me down or psych me up, but that's about it. Does anybody else have a character playlist?
I do not.
Nope.
I'm not good at making playlists. I like to steal
I
playlists
don't.
from other humans.
I'm not good at it either. I feel like it's a miracle that I managed to make one for this character, but I'm grateful for it.
Is this the first time you've made one?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Okay. Well, I'm glad that worked. How about you, Hannah? You want to share?
I feel like Winnie's playlist would just be like a bunch of Queen or something.
That would be awesome.
Just like smash everything.
Yeah, that would be.
No, I feel pretty good about starting up after a month. It's interesting because I'm playing in 2 games simultaneously. Well, not at the same time, but like concurrent games. And I always have trouble remembering what happened in the other campaign because there's like, I don't know, the story that we're working on in that campaign is like, there's politics. It's a little bit more like Critical Role. Like there's just so much going on that every single time we meet, I'm just like, I don't even remember like anything that happened last time. But this game, even though we haven't met for a month, like I'm still able to like keep up and like remember what happened. And I don't know. I feel like I have more of an emotional connection in this game because there's just like so much happening in the other game. I'm overwhelmed. But like this game, I'm like able to like emotionally connect with my character and connect to everybody else and like remember things that other people have said and stay more present. And so I'm really excited to be back.
That's really cool. I don't suppose you know why that is. I would love if you have any ideas on why you're able to connect like that. I'd love to know that, because if it's something we can do deliberately, that would be awesome.
I'll think about it. I don't know if anybody else has any insights or experience that's similar or different.
I have a kind of similar opinion, and this isn't meant to be a dig on Spoon at all, but I think it is a little bit for me that we don't seem to get through a lot in a session, like, and that might contribute to like what we do get through in a session stands out more, because like that's what the night was. Like, that's what our game was this 10 minutes in game, or this hour in game, instead of a span of multiple days, multiple big events.
That's fair. We also play for shorter periods of time.
Yeah.
Like we only play for about 2 hours usually, maybe a little longer. But so that might be part of it too. I've noticed that games that I play, the shorter the session is, the easier, and the more frequent I play, right? Like because we usually play weekly, which is most of the games that I'm familiar with play every other week or once a month. So that can probably help contribute to it. But
yeah, I think it's part of that because my other session is like sometimes 4.5, 5 hours long, and we meet like once a month.
Yeah.
And so there is that piece of it of just like being exhausted by the end of the session.
Yeah.
But I think also just the people in this group are just like so much more vulnerable with their character choices and like what's going through their characters' heads versus the other folks that I play with are a little bit more like they've been playing D&D for like 18 years and they're just like, you know, this is what's happened. I'm not going to let you in on it. I'm not going to like give you a behind the scenes peek into like why I'm making this choice. I'm just going to do it. And so you don't necessarily know. So it feels like I said, more like Critical Role, like I'm watching a game rather than part of it. So I love this, and there's just a smaller, more intimate group here. I think that helps too.
Yeah, we do talk about our feelings a lot as characters, and there's a lot of role play, which I think is fun.
But I love that you asked those questions. We're like, well, what do you think your character would do here? And like, we kind of like talk through it, and I think that's really helpful to get to know each other's characters a little bit better.
Well, it's an opportunity I don't have as an autistic human in real life. It's really difficult to get somebody to tell me what they're thinking in the moment so I can understand the context of the moment. And I can do it in D&D as the game master. I can be like, oh, your character's making a choice. Can you tell me what they're thinking? It's totally cheating, but it's very helpful to me. I learn so much from y'all every time we play, because I can ask you what your characters are thinking. Huge cheat. Okay. Do y'all have any ideas on how you'd like to get back into playing? I have a couple ideas, but I wanted to see how if you had any like ways that you've gotten back into playing after a long period of time in other games, or something you want to try, something you read about, something you use somewhere else. Anything?
I have no ideas.
That's fair. You don't have to have ideas. Okay. Winnie, can you say something real quick? I don't think I see your captions working.
My captions had stopped for some reason.
They are working now. Okay, great. Just gotta have those pretty color-coded captions. All right. So the idea that I had is I wanted to go over the notes from our last session, but have a conversation about it. I'm not going to read my notes off. I'm going to be like, do y'all remember this? Do y'all remember this? And I want you to tell me what you do remember, because we all remember this a little bit different. I'm going to try and remind you what I think you're wearing. I'm going to tell you where you're at. Like what we're going to kind of like lead up into it. Does that sound all right?
Sounds great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So in the last session, we apparently named the town that you got on the train Downtown for some reason, which I find amusing. You ended up in the business car. You were looking at a lot of paper. Battle is green right now for some reason. Probably.
Am I still glowing?
I think so. Let me take a look at the notes at the end. Yume was looking at business stuff, boring business stuff, stocks and bonds. Winnie tried to flirt, and I wrote down House of Flora Furbolgs. How did that come up? Do we remember?
Yeah. But and when we were in the very first car after the storage car, this rich woman asked me if I was from the Flora House of Furbolg, and I was just like, sure.
Right.
And so I just kept telling people that's where I was from.
That's good. All right. Oh, yeah, so Battle being green, Freya was trying to use that fact to get into the next car. But I also wrote down that you did not seem concerned that Battle was green. Does that sound about right?
That Freya's not concerned?
Yeah, Freya was not concerned that Battle was green, but wanted to use it to get into the next car.
Not at all concerned.
You were trying to use this as sort of a she's ill, right?
Yeah, I was very much like, I was like, oh, this is like, because I looked at her and I was like, she doesn't seem like she's dying. So like, either she's dying, there's nothing that I can do about it, or this is a great way to convince everyone that like something scary and magical is going on, and they should 100% let us go through, because, you know.
Yeah. No, I mean,
yeah.
That tracks. All right.
Right, I cast a spell so everything around me glowed green for a little bit too, right?
You did. You used fairy fire. Yes. I have a note of that later.
Exciting.
I have a note in here that you started yelling at an old man Battle. Do you remember what that was about? Because I didn't write down any context at all.
I'm pretty sure that this was when I was trying to create chaos and at the same time convince everyone that like the more they stress me out, the worse the green glow sickness gets. Yep. And I was like rocking in the fetal position at the end of one session.
That's right.
Like glowing by the door.
Yeah. Just yelling at one of the businessmen or at the guard?
Oh, well, that's a great question.
It could be both.
I wouldn't put it past Battle to yell at either person, so I really don't remember that part.
I do remember a Battle just sort of like yelling indiscriminately at one point. I have a note that Freya wanted Battle to act possessed or sick or something.
I was rolled with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. She did an amazing job of rolling with it. It was very exciting.
I have another note that just says, Yume is going to look distressed.
Sounds about right.
Yep. Shy, I guess, tried to lick the green off of Battle. So I think you startled the door guy. I think you're doing all of this at the door guy in the previous car. He ends up running through the door. I wrote down that Battle demands to speak to the manager. Which, yeah.
I think I was blaming one of the guards for my condition.
Okay.
And then saying that they needed to, like, take us to their boss, if I remember
amazing.
right.
Yeah, all right, that sounds right. So a soldier comes in. What's the meaning of this? And apparently Winnie just started sobbing.
Yep.
Yep.
That is accurate.
All right. That's when everyone turned green. Battle cast Fairy Fire. And the soldier drew his sword and, like, swung it. And Freya got really sort of aggressive and was like, you need to help my friend right now. And then I wrote down that you move in on him, and I have a combat table, so what did you...
I think we were gonna... No, but then we talked him down.
You did. You cast command.
I did do that.
Yeah. And Winnie held until someone got aggressive, and Yume held. If the door opens again, Yume was going to run through. Freya, it looks like you were arguing that there should be somewhere to contain this.
Yes, so
Battle.
I was like, you need to get us to this front car.
Mhm.
Like, you need to get us wherever, like, whatever has, like, magical containment.
Right,
because this could, like, spread and cause problems.
That's right. You specifically called out magical containment. That's right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, because the soldier was like, we'll contain it here, and you were like, well, what if it spreads?
No, it's going to
Yeah.
spread. It's going to get everybody. You have to take us to the secret place where you hide all this stuff.
Not suspicious at all.
Well, and didn't he start glowing until we crossed the threshold into the next car?
I think so, yeah.
One of them was glowing.
Yeah, that sounds right. And well, I think everything was glowing if I'm looking at the map. Like I've still got it's invisible. I've got a ring of fairy fire up on the map, and it's huge, like it covers that car, so he must have been glowing. But I think the soldier agrees to confine you in the next car. I wrote down that Freya tries not to look pleased. Yume is thrilled. Winnie just overwhelmed and sobs. And Battle directs Shy to comfort Winnie. Does that all sound like your feels as you walk through the door?
Tracks.
The stuff I wrote down that you learned was
Yes.
that Winnie has limits to improv scenarios. Does that sound right?
That sounds very, very accurate.
Very on brand. Freya learned that being dramatic and whiny is terribly effective.
I did. It was a bad lesson for Freya to learn.
It'll be interesting to see how she uses this in the future. Battle is inexplicably glowing green, but good at pretending it's fine. You know, what's really funny is I don't remember why you're glowing green, and I have no idea how long it lasts. So that'll be fun.
It was from the Deck of Wonder because I rolled
Rolled a
2 or
7.
3. Yeah, 7s now, and so...
The problem is I shuffle that card back into the deck when I draw it, so I don't remember, and I didn't write down like whether it's permanent or it wears off or anything like that.
Are there
So
multiple versions of it? Multiple different cards that will affect greenness?
I thought it was a half an hour of just inexplicable greenness. There's no
That sounds
damage.
good.
There's no...
we'll call it
time.
we'll call it a half an
If
hour.
you
Yeah.
recall, you did mention that this very same effect happened to 1 or 2 other characters in other games.
That was a
but I
trap.
don't
Yeah.
remember which one it is.
That was a trap. This is different. I hadn't started using. They triggered a trap that turned them green for a time I will not say out loud because they might be listening.
I was gonna say I thought it was Luth's character.
It is Luth's
In
character. He
particular,
might be
yeah.
listening. He's either playing spaceship game with a VR headset, or he's listening. One or the other. And then, yeah, so that's everything I wrote down. Let's see who took the RP point, because that's usually pretty good. Battle casting Fairy Fire got 1. Freya coming up with the excuse that battle is sick and it is spreading and it must be contained. So Freya, you have the RP point. We also
cool.
We also wrote down battle sitting down and getting in the way of the guy's second work table so she could read the files. Oh, I forgot about that. Do you remember that?
Sat down and that's where I was yelling because I was the middleman between the old guy and the young guy.
Yes.
And I kept handing the papers over and I was like, "You're stressing me out. This is why I'm green."
That's right. I forgot about that.
And then he was like, "Well, blah, blah."
Yeah. Winnie crying a whole mood was one of the nominations. Which, yeah, I feel that is a whole mood. And then Battle's interaction with the 2 financial guys just making them super uncomfortable got another nomination. I think it's very good. So, yeah, so that's everything we've got from last session. I was in, I have Randall Hampton has drawn 2 of your characters, and he's drawing all the characters for Treasure Tuesday. And I was in a stream where he was drawing those, and I don't remember how it came up, but I absolutely referenced the mimic that bit Winnie on the butt, and y'all tried to adopt, and she murdered. So that is also something I remember from the train. Is that fun mimic? It was a sad day. Yeah.
It was a sad today.
Yeah, you guys are all
Sad.
technically in the same
It
day.
was a sad today. And if I remember right, the train is like a dusty blue color and steel. There was something about an air genasi being related.
Well, the door knockers,
yeah.
right? The door knockers on this thing look
The train
like a.
is an air genasi.
Yes.
It's like the spirit of him or something.
That's how I interpret it.
Well, I will write that down.
Well, because the train changed
So it's
color,
like,
he
no,
died,
that's
and then
good.
the train appeared, and it was a different color.
I do not remember this at all. Where did this
I don't
come
remember this
from?
either.
No. I believe you.
I definitely did not make this up.
I'm sure you didn't. Did you learn this before you guys got on the train? Or did
I think
somebody
we
tell
were
you
on
on
the
the
train
train?
somewhere.
Was it the guy in the
think
top
somebody was on
hat
the
that was telling you
train.
stuff? Sorry.
This seems familiar. Yes, guy in top hats. Seems right.
You may what were
I'm
you
not
saying?
confident.
We were getting some history from someone in one of the cars.
Right.
Pretty sure it was in the room where the flirting was happening.
I was
Wait, no, hold
teaching
on.
the young guy how to flirt,
Where-
and
there
I was
are
pumping him for
multiple rooms.
information.
Yes,
Yeah.
where Battle was flirting.
I
Or
think-
teaching how to flirt, rather.
But I don't remember exactly what he said at all, and I think I made all of that up on the spot, or at least loosely made a bunch of it up on the spot. So I'll have to go back to that episode and write it down so that I remember it, because that
It
sounds
had to
really
do with the
cool.
name J, something like that.
Oh God, what is the name of the
Yeah.
train? I wrote it at the top of one of my pages, so I
There's
should be
one
able to
up
find
here.
it.
One of
The
branches
I think I just called it a Z train, but it's spelled ZEIH.
Yeah.
That was not particularly clever of me, but okay. All right. Yep. And do y'all remember why you're on the train?
There's an aspect
Yes.
of a deity that is being held captive,
Mm-hmm.
and we need to rescue it.
Mm-hmm. That sounds right. Anyone want to add anything?
Yes, that's correct.
But if it's someone that either you or Dandy know, like somebody else is familiar.
Yeah. For the audience sake, it is an aspect of Yume's patron, but she's been keeping it a little bit, like, not being secretive about it, but being, like, not super straightforward about what it all is with the rest of the team for now. It's like, it's a friend like Dandy, and Dandy's this big magical bee friend.
Yep. Okay. All right, so I think that gets us to about here. Do you remember the stakes that you have at all? Like, do y'all remember that you need to get off the train at some point?
Oh, no.
Nope, didn't remember that.
Cool. And you all snuck.
that
Go ahead.
we were told by somebody, I think either in the business car or in the flirty car, that we're going to a big city.
Going to a big city. Yep. And this train.
That's the next stop.
Yeah, this train is a private train, so you weren't able to buy tickets to get on. That's why you folks snuck on. Yep. Okay. I think that about covers everything we sort of need to know. Now, if I recall, y'all borrowed clothing from the baggage car and are all dressed real fancy. Does anybody remember what they're wearing?
I know I have a hat with fruit on it.
Yes, Winnie has a hat with fruit on it that I believe was the only purchased part of your outfit.
Yes.
Because Freya stole your dress, and there were bees involved.
Was a little small.
Yeah, that session has joined the ranks of the stories I tell to other GMs.
It's quite the ruckus.
It was quite the ruckus. It's a really good example of what to do when your players turn left instead of going right, like you really want them to. So it's like you guys were like, you know what we're going to do today? We're going to go left instead of right because Shona wants us to go right. It's going to be awesome. She's going to do all these neat things that she'll be able to talk about later. It'll be a great example. I've literally shared the link to that episode. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Y'all did great. Right. What's everybody else wearing? Wait, Yume, aren't you wearing like a very fluffy pink dress or something?
I don't remember.
I must have written this down. Some sort of dress.
Someone else is wearing a
pretty
suit
dress
sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think with Battle.
Yes. I know I'm wearing like a suit, fitted suit with a cape, and my dog has a cape.
Battle has
conveniently natural 20 fitted suit.
Yes. I wrote down that Battle has a suit, suit, coat, dog cape. Freya has split skirts. Yeah, Yume, you are in a dusky pink dress that also fits perfectly.
Cute.
With gloves and boots. And Winnie, you've got an embroidered dress on. Oh, no, you put on a different dress because the other dress didn't quite fit, I think.
Right.
I thought we found it in the first car, but we were very concerned that someone was going to recognize it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, I probably should have done something with that, but yeah. All right. So y'all have made it to this last car. Seconds before there was yelling. There was Freya was being aggressive. Battle was pretending to be sick. Yume was pounding on the door at one point. Winnie, you are sobbing, apparently uncontrollably. Shai is trying to comfort you. And if I recall correctly, you've got these two sort of bewildered soldiers that have escorted you in here. One of them is standing in front of a cage that appears to be glowing, and the other one is blocking the door that y'all just came through. Does that match everybody's? We all caught up? We all up to speed? All right, so Freya,
yes.
What would be going through Freya's mind right now?
So Freya can see this glowing creature in this cage thing.
You can see a glow in a cage behind the soldier. You can't quite make out what it is because you've just walked into this room. You've just made it through that door.
So Freya is just gonna assume that's definitely what we're here for. And so she's going to feel immense relief and also pride. Mm-hmm. And she is going to look around the room and think that, like, carrying on this farce as long as we possibly can is going to be really important. To at least, like, maybe make the guards less suspicious. And so she's going to say, look at whichever this guard is that's in front of her and just say, like, oh, thank goodness. Please tell me that there are magical protections here. As you can see, my friend appears to have some sort of horrible magical ailment, and I'm sure it's spreading.
Okay, the guard is definitely going to look concerned, but before we further that interaction, Battle, what do you think would be going through Battle's mind as she makes it through this door and you land in this car?
I'm fairly certain that last time we played, Battle was itching and rubbing, acting like this was kind of a skin condition, so I imagine that I'm going to be acting anxious, probably having some form of adrenal response in kind because I'm amping up my body so much, and looking to Freya just to kind of see next steps, because this is a very active in-person close-up interaction, and that's not Battle's favorite. And also that, like, probably just a hair of that, like, on an adrenaline rush, a little bit overconfident, totally dove into the acting of this condition. Still a little confused why I'm glowing. Don't really care because it doesn't hurt or do anything to me. And trusting Shy to take care of Winnie because this is really stressful. But just kind of leaning in with Freya and keeping an eye on her moves to figure out what to do next, but just keeping up the act.
Is this like one of those situations where have you ever felt like I can do absolutely anything right now, but if I'm not very, very careful, it could all go wrong. It could go horribly wrong.
Yes.
Yeah. So is this one of those situations?
Like high pressure, keep up the act. I'm probably looking around the room a little bit, kind of flitting, looking to see what else is going on, but kind of keeping Freya at least in peripheral, to see if I can't make some bold moves around just to kind of get advantage as well. Okay. Because if I'm theoretically kind of sick and frantic and frenetic, I could get away with moving around. You can move around,
yeah. Okay. So planning on moving around. Cool. And Yume, what do you think would be going through Yume's mind when you get into this car?
Ooh, Yumi's eyes are wide. There's probably a visible jolt, like she wants to just run right towards it as soon as she sees the glow and can recognize that this is definitely what she's looking for. She wants to run right towards it.
Yeah.
But I think I was gonna ask him maybe to have like a contested role for my own sake, but I don't think that's necessary. I'll just decide that she hears Freya talking, keeping up this act, and she's soothed isn't the right word, but like hearing her friends continuing this, like, okay, maybe like I can hold on a little bit, like just stick with the bit, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So
she has enough presence of mind to not just give everything up and run and grab the box.
Yeah, you don't want to ruin what the play acting is. I think you immediately there's sort of a resonance when you get into this room. Like you realize you've been feeling it build this whole time. It's like when Dandy gets close, and you recognize it in that. It feels very much like Dandy feels. Okay. And I like that you're so far the two of you are watching Freya and like following Freya's lead, see how far we're going to take this. I think that's good. Okay, Winnie, what do you think? Winnie's very upset. Is Winnie play acting very upset? I can't remember. Or is Winnie actively very upset?
At first, Winnie was not play acting very upset. But now, like, that we've moved into this car, she's kind of looking around, trying to make, like, eye contact with people to be like, what is going on? Are we still glowing, or is that over?
You are still glowing.
Yeah, so I'm trying to calm down, figure out what's going on, and I'm, like, very aware of the axe that's on my back.
Oh, that's
like, hidden
right.
under my cloak. I've got it, like, you know, like Wonder Woman style, and like I'm just very nervous because there's these soldiers and everybody's glowing and Freya's green, or was it?
Nope, she's
green.
It was
Battle.
Battle's green.
Sorry, everybody's green though.
Yeah,
everybody's green
right now.
Everybody's green.
Did it expand into this card or no?
Remind me, does Fairy Fire move? Because what did you cast it on? Did you cast it on, like, the door?
It doesn't move. It just hits
doesn't
everything
move.
it hits.
Yeah,
In the
it was like
remaining
within
And does anyone
20
remember...
feet or something?
Yeah. Does anyone remember how long it lasts?
a minute.
1 minute?
Yeah, just a
Great.
minute.
1 minute or 10 minutes.
Okay, I was wrong. It's a 10-foot radius for 1 minute. Based on my concentration, which is probably not very strong.
It's a decision. You decide to concentrate, and occasionally something will disrupt that concentration, but I don't think anything has disrupted that. So, but because it's a concentration spell, you can drop it at any time.
I mean, I'm going to want to keep this going as long as I can.
Yeah. I'll say maybe 15 seconds have passed since you got in here, and I'll unpause this in just a moment. Shy takes direction very well, so Shy is over with Winnie. Would it make sense for Ren, as Winnie is licking, would Shy be licking Winnie's hand, and would Ren sort of like try to lean out of his holster and try to lick Winnie's hand too, like copying Shy? Would that make sense?
Sure. Yeah, probably doing the nuzzles too.
Great, that's happening. There's a very fuzzy black dog and a very odd looking turtle nuzzling your hand, Winnie.
Winnie is definitely petting them.
That turtle, by the way, is one of Randall's favorite things. He brought it up in his stream the other
He was
day.
so excited to draw it when I asked him to commission that. He was like, yes.
He pulled it up in the stream and was like, look at this other thing I drew. And I was like, yes, it's forever
awesome.
now. Thank you. Okay, so I think we're ready to unpause. Anybody want to talk about anything else before we like unpause and we jump back into game? Are we feeling ready? Getting
Sounds
2
good.
thumbs up. Verbal yes.
I think so.
And another. All right. All right, let's do this. So Freya has just said, I hope there's magical protections. Something like that. Yep. And the guards look sort of, the guard standing in front of the cage that you see there in that back right-hand corner is not green. But the guard behind you is. And the guard behind you is like, sort of like rubbing at his uniform and like on his hands. And he's like, what is this? You know, and like trying to shake it off and stuff. And the other soldier's like, what happened to you? Yes, there's magical containment on this train, but why did you let them in here? And the other soldier is like, we're all green. It's spreading. I didn't know what to do. I thought we could contain them in here instead of letting it spread to the other passengers. And the first guard's like, you're not supposed to let anybody in here. And the second guard's like, I know that, but we'll just keep them in here until the whole trip. And the first guard's like rolling his eyes like, dude, you messed up. And the other guard is like, I'm green.
Can I start like stumbling towards the cage along the side, the opposite wall, like of the southwest corner? Yeah, I just want to start like wandering that way.
Yeah. As soon as you get to
Sickly.
as soon as you get to about there, the guard in front of the cage turns to you and is like, stop where you are. Where do you think you're going?
How many guards are in the room total?
Help me! I'm sick and I am green and I'm help.
There are 2 guards in the room, Yume. There's one standing in front of the cage, which is in the back right-hand corner, and there's one standing in the door that you just came through, which is behind you.
So it was the one that let us in and one that was already in here to begin with.
Yes. The one that let you in is green, and the one that's already in here is like, why the hell are you all in here? And that's the one yelling at battle. And he's like, sit down.
And can I like make a dive sit for the other corner?
So you're trying to get to this corner?
Yeah.
I think he's gonna try to stop you. Can I get a dex check from you to see
Sure.
if you can avoid him.
17.
All right, I think that works. So he's got a sword that he drew when y'all came in here. And as soon as you start to dive, he tries to jump in front of you, not with the sword, but he tries to like block you, and you sort of, does it make sense for you to like slide under him? Like under his...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna sit down back in the fetal position and start rubbing again. So he
I think
sees
the
me staying
minute
still.
when he sees anyone draw a weapon, she's immediately gonna like kick into action mode a little bit.
He's had
Is
that...
Freya gonna do anything to stop her?
He's had that sword drawn the whole time. He didn't draw it when battle started moving. He's had it drawn since you all piled into this room.
But he moved toward her with it, right?
He did move toward her with it, yeah.
That's a threat.
That okay, that's fair. He wasn't aiming the sword at her. He was more trying to like block her way. But yes, definitely. I think Winnie would see that as a threat. What are you going to do?
Immediately going to step toward him menacingly.
So, just to be clear here, this furball dressed in a fine blue gown, wearing a ridiculous hat. How does one step towards a guard menacingly?
Especially because she's been sobbing for like the last 5 minutes, and so like her face is all wet.
Right.
And her eyes are all swollen and red, and I think she's just gonna ball her fists at her side, and kind of one hand reaches back toward her hidden axe a little bit, and then she's just gonna step toward him and say, "What are you doing?"
And he's like, "None of you were supposed to be in here." And he like sees where Battle is, and he just sort of... I think
Battle's gonna make a reassuring comment of like, I don't want to get anybody else more sick. Do you want this?
And he sort of like takes a step back, and he's like, "No, I don't." He looks very put upon, and when you step towards him, Winnie, he's just he realizes he's still holding the sword, and he sheathes it, and he holds his hands up, and he's like, "I'm sorry, we're supposed to protect this room. No one is supposed to be in here." He seems beside himself, like he doesn't know what to do. What's Freya and Yume doing?
Freya's at this point like looking to Yume to see if Yume, like looking at the like shiny thing and looking at Yume and looking at the shiny thing and looking at Yume to be like, is this what we're here for? Is this what we're looking for?
She definitely nods at you. Like, she'll
Yes.
nod, look frantically back and forth, trying to make a quick decision in between what Battle and Winnie are doing.
Freya
Sorry
just
to take us out of
ignores
this
the
for a second,
kerfuffle.
but what is the... Could you give, because I can't see the map,
Yeah.
What are some other, like, obvious features of this room?
Yes. So every car that you've been in so far has been very luxurious. It's the closest car to the only other car you've been in that was close to what this one looks like is the dining car, because the floor is bare, but the it's still like a nice wooden floor. It's not just the inside of a wagon. The walls are the same sort of plain but well-made wood that you saw in the baggage car. You're seeing the same frames around all the doors with those corner pieces on the frames. But it's a very bare room. This looks like another storage room. There are 2 chairs on either side of the door on the right side of the cart, and all the way on the left side of the cart is where that cage is. It's about 2 feet high, and it's about 2 feet square, a cube. It's made out of a bright metal that seems to be glowing itself, and it looks like it has been bolted to the floor, and it doesn't appear to have any doors.
Does the room have other like shelving and things? Are there
No.
like other does the cage stand out as like this is oddly like the centerpiece of this area, or they're like it's just one shiny thing amongst a bunch of other stored
No, it's
items?
the only thing in this room.
Okay. Is the door shut behind us, or is the guard still holding it open?
It's shut. The doors in this train, when you activate the door handle or the door knocker with the ring, the doors sort of shoosh. That door opens and the next door opens. They're tied together magically, and then they close in sync as well after a couple of seconds.
Okay, it's time. I think Yume looks a little apologetic to everyone when she's going for this, but she's gonna try to dash past the guard that is trying to sort out battle and run towards the...
Freya is going to try and support this dashing motion any way that she can, including body checking people.
Okay, I think if Yume starts to dash, I think the guard behind you is going to try and grab you.
Okay.
So Freya, I think you would see this because you're trying to communicate silent with Yume.
Yes.
And do you think Freya would try to block the guard behind her that's trying to grab her? Yeah, okay. So
yes.
Let's get...
And I think Winnie's going to try and restrain the guard at the cage.
Okay, so when Winnie sees this happening, Winnie's going to move on the guard at the cage. We could do initiative for this, but I don't want to, so let's resolve this one at a time. So Yume, you're going to start to dash. The guard behind you is going to try to grab you. Let's do a contested dex check. I am making up weird rules, and I don't care.
That makes sense.
I
Is
mean,
there...
when it's
Do you have
contested.
something in mind for how Freya is assisting already, mechanically?
I was going to have Freya go next and try to hold him back and do a contested strength check. Or if Freya comes up with something clever, like, freezing him or whatever, I was going to talk through
Were you
that.
going for
I can
the guard, like,
cast hold
grappling me
person.
before I run, sort of thing?
Sorry, what did you say, Yume?
Were you going for, like, the guards trying to grab Yume, trying to grapple before
Yes.
she gets away?
Yeah. Should that be a strength check?
If it's better, like, you can choose if his dex is better to go that way. But that would be like a grapple check.
I like dex because you're running. Freya said that she could
fair.
hold person. Would it make sense for Freya to cast hold person as the guard tries to grab you?
Can
you do it that fast?
I mean, I think that she would try and physically restrain first, and then be like, "Oh crap, magic!" Right. So like, I think she would immediately lunge forward and try and just grab him.
I'm gonna give the soldier disadvantage on his dex check. Okay, yeah, on his dex check, and I'll give Yume advantage on your dex check. Because Freya's tangling up the soldier, which is gonna help you and hurt him. Does that sound good?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for bringing that up. That was a good point.
That's an 18.
Yeah, you handily beat that. Okay, so Yume's gonna go this way. I'm gonna leave you right there for a second while I resolve Freya and Winnie, but you are definitely on your way to touching that cage. Freya, are you gonna try and, did you try to just get in the soldier's way? Like, nope. Or are you trying to like hold on to him?
I'm like restrain him and keep him from reaching for weapons.
Let's do a grapple check. That'll be strength, I think. Is that right, Yume?
It is strength, but if you have athletics, that can apply.
Yeah, that's true.
10.
He is able to shove you aside.
She's gonna at that point I don't know how this is gonna work for her otherwise, but she is at that point going to be like, right, magic is how this works.
Let's see what Winnie's doing really quickly, and then I'll come back to you.
Totally.
Winnie, when you say that you were going towards the other soldier, what are you doing? Are you drawing the axe? Are you just going to try and hug him? Like, what's up? Malevolently hug him?
Malevolently hug him. Yeah, I was thinking grapple as well. I'm not gonna, kill anybody if I don't have to.
Fair enough. So yeah.
Unless it's a mimic.
We can do athletics versus athletics or acrobatics.
Let's do athletics.
Did you say unless it's a mimic?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Are you just gonna try and kill all mimics?
Pretty much. It's a long story. So I just literally threw my dice. I was playing with my dice and I threw it like over my hand into my thing and it landed on a natural 20.
Awesome. All right. Well, what do you want this to look like? There's so many different ways you could grapple someone. Are you gonna try and malevolently hug him and like throw him on the ground, or what's it look like?
Well, as I'm walking toward him, I wipe the snot from my nose with my hand and then grab him
Gross.
with the snotty hand and kind of like whip him around so that he's kind of with his back toward battle and like try to like push him up against the wall over on the other side of the cage. Yeah.
Like this? Wait,
Yep.
On this wall? On the far wall away from the cage?
Yep.
Got it. Okay. Now, what is Battle doing at this particular moment?
See, all of these skirmishes happen. I think first I'm gonna send Shy over towards Freya to give backup.
Okay.
And then I want to start going towards the cage, just like stand up like nothing's wrong with me anymore and go and help Yume.
Got it. Okay, so you and Yume are going to meet over here, and then I want to check back in with Freya really quickly because I think Freya declared she wanted to do a hold person. Is that correct?
Yes. So they're going to need to succeed on a wisdom saving throw. The DC is 14.
They super fail, so I think I want this to kind of look like a Petrificus Totalis thing, where he just sort of like straightens up like a board and falls to the ground. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
He
This
rolled
is perfect.
He rolled a nat 1, so.
Yes, great. Yay.
Can we have Shy just sit on top of him?
Yes.
And then Ren is gonna hop out and sit also, very proudly, like, I helped.
Yes. Yep, that is accurate. I like everything I'm hearing about this. I really like the idea of Ren turning into a mini Shy and just like copying everything Shy does. I'm really looking forward to the day that Ren tries to bite something that Shy's biting.
It's always going to be fingers or toes.
Exactly. I mean, what else? Or a nose? Or...
Oh yes, especially noses.
I had a not safe for work
Ren
idea,
hates
but yeah.
noses like Winnie hates mimics.
Ren hates noses. We're learning all kinds of things tonight. This is great.
But not friend noses, just not friend noses.
What if
In fact, perhaps stranger noses might even be a little bit in danger, but we all treat it very playfully.
Okay. So Shy sits on the soldier. So does Ren. They are both very proud. Have to write that down. I also have to write down that Ren hates noses. That's important information to capture for future, as we can tell by my haphazard note-taking.
Also, only noses she doesn't know.
But only stranger noses.
Yes.
Stranger danger for Ren is very specific to noses. Got it. Okay. All right. So Winnie, you've got a soldier smashed up against the side of the cart. Do you have like an arm across his throat, or you've got both hands on his shoulders, or what's it look like?
Yeah, I'm a bear hug. I've got like his arms straight down against his sides.
Bear hug.
Yeah.
Got it. And, okay, and then Freya, you've just cast Hold Person. Shy has sat on this result with Ren. Are you going to move back towards the cage as well?
Yeah, Frey's gonna kind of back up so that she can keep an eye on things. Hold person's only gonna work as long as she's concentrating. So she's just trying to be like in a way where she's not gonna be like bumped or moved, but try and kind of be aware of what's going on.
Got it. Okay. Now Yume and Battle, how about we say that y'all meet at the cage at the same time? And we've resolved about 6 seconds. What are we doing when we get to the cage, my friends?
You said there's no door or latch on it?
There's no door. It looks like the cage has been bolted to the floor and the wall at all points where it touches the floor and the wall because it's
Is there a
tucked into a
bottom to
corner.
the cage?
Yes, there
And the
is.
bottom is bolted to the floor?
Oh,
There.
so it's on the floor. It
Yes.
comes up 2 feet from the floor.
Yes.
Okay.
And it does
it
have
made
4
of?
sides. It's some kind of shiny metal. Seems to be glowing a little bit.
Oh.
Yume wouldn't think too far into this. She's gonna run up and grab, like, in her haste, she's going to run up and, like, grab the bars and, like, lean down to try to talk to them.
I
It's like clearing the bar.
forgot why the cage is shiny. I'm gonna ask for just a moment to see if I can
There's
remember.
like magical metal, like mithril or something.
I know, but I forgot what it was, and I can't
It's
remember
a
whether
horrible,
it's.
nasty spell.
Yeah, let me you mind giving me just a minute to Google something?
Yeah, it's fine. The player doesn't want Precious Yume to get hurt, but I figure like this
Yeah, I
could
don't want
just
her
be
to hurt either,
nice,
but
nice, really good metal, or it could be a dangerous spell. Who knows?
I've been reading I read books about different magic systems, and I'm reading a very weird. It definitely is not D&D type magic. So I'm just not quite remembering what I did. Ah, dang it. This is what happens. Okay, and this is when a GM makes this decision. All right. When you go to touch the bars, they are impossibly cold. And you know that that is particularly weakening to your aspect because sunshine is very important to your patron, correct?
Oh no.
Does
Yes,
that sound right?
it is.
Yeah, so the bars have the bite of like frostbitten, everything cold and dreadful.
Can we
Oh,
tell
no,
if
that's so sad.
fire would help, or is it like a magical kind of metal that is impervious to natural elements?
I think in order to answer that, someone's going to need to roll an Arcana. The information I just gave Yume is more instinctive than anything else, right? Like, it's at the level of like sunshine good, cold bad. Like, cold's not good for bees, that kind of thing.
Okay.
I am definitely
Yes,
oversimplifying it, but that's sort of the instinct that Yume gets.
Okay.
In this moment, I crouch down and grab the bars and put my face close and just try to talk to them. Like, are you okay? Are they hurting you?
Did we talk about how the aspects communicate? Is it just you can just hear it in your brain?
We did not talk about it.
Did it sound
has
like
never
a
come up.
soft buzzing?
The Yume's patron can speak to her telepathically once in a while, but this is the first aspect she's meeting.
Okay. So I don't think this aspect is exactly like Dandy. I think we discussed a little bit it being similar to Dandy, but not quite. Because Dandy's a familiar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Dandy has more of a corporeal form. What you're seeing here is, let's call it, Dandy's about the size of a fist, did we say?
Yes.
Yeah. What you're seeing here is about the size of a cat, but is strangely translucent and much shinier than Dandy. Dandy looks like a bumblebee, just the size of a fist, which just outside of game would be so friggin' terrifying, but also like super duper cute, and it regularly gives me weird dreams. So what you're seeing here is about the size of a cat or like a head, like a normal human, regular human type head, and but it's where there would be black on a bumblebee, there's more like a like a shininess on this one. And again, it's a little see-through, and it's everybody else, all anybody else sees is what looks like a starburst or a sunburst. It's giving off these waves of what look like, when sunbeams come through a window and there's that, like, you can see that beam of sun on the floor. This, everybody else sees that like flashing out of this space. You're the only one who can see the details that I just described.
Huh. Okay. So sorry, just to the core of this, does that mean they don't respond either?
Oh, right, I forgot about
verbally or
that.
telepathically?
I was just so excited about the visual crap that I was
I'm
making
excited
up.
too. It's very cool.
You hear a gentle buzzing, like when bees are working and there's like that sort of gentle drone, but then you also there's that noise that bees make when they're angry, when you've upset them.
Mm-hmm.
This one's making the angry bee noise. And when you talk to it, it talks back and it sounds very weak. And it says, they've trapped me. I made a mistake and I can't get out. They're countering all of my magic. And the aspects, what you're hearing is sort of half telepathic and half on this material plane through those buzzes. You just seem to be able to understand them. But it doesn't come across as words. It comes across more as concepts.
Okay.
I think I'm going to ask... Go ahead.
Sorry, I have a plan, but I'm going to let other people have a moment.
What's up?
I want to ask you, May, if it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Is it okay, you May?
Oh, if the creature's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
I thought that was above board. Like, asking me if it's like okay to do what? Like, what are you planning?
Is the corporeal being alive?
No, they're not. They're hurt. Been hurting for a while. They're stopping their magic.
Do you know if we can get through these bars, or do we need to take the whole cage with us, or how do we get this thing out of here?
I kind of squeeze the bars and pull on them. Do I get hurt at all, or is it just unpleasantly cold?
You're not gonna take any damage, but it's gonna feel like it's a sharp bite. Trying to remember how you embody your magic. Does it feel like you take energy from? Does it feel to Yume like she's taking energy from her own form, or she's drawing it around her?
Oh, probably more the second.
Then when she's pulling on the bars, she's realizing that there is a very odd lack of that energy she normally pulls on. It's just it's completely empty in this space immediately around the cage, and especially where you're touching the cage, which is unheard of. It's incredibly unusual. Do you want to cast an Arcana check?
Sure. I'm a little bit concerned that I'm confused. So maybe that's the right approach.
That's fair. I am sort of hand-waving a bunch of this.
That's a natural 7 for 9.
Oh no.
Woohoo!
All right, here we go. Deck of Wonder.
For 11. I don't think that matters.
All right, I should have laid these out. Sorry. I have this huge desk now that I'm playing on, so I should be able to lay stuff out more. All right, you ready?
As I'll ever be.
Save that one for a different time. This is not the right pile. Hang on one second.
I mean, Battle, I'm not strong, but I think it's bolted in. I don't know if we're gonna be able to just lift it up and take it.
So, when you do Arcana stuff, are you like trying to look at it from a different angle? Are you sort of like tasting the air? Like what's Arcana look like to you? And more specifically, are you still touching the cage?
Yes. Just like gripping it, putting her face close to the friend, and occasionally looking back and forth. I mean, it's all happening very quickly, but looking back and forth between it and battle. Any pathways to Arcana, I think for Yume are tuning into this patron's magic specifically, like the type of buzzy, sunshiny energy that you're talking about, or any books that she's read back at the temple.
I like that.
She's
Okay.
very sort of academic, which I doubt there would be much to this in books she's read, but
I don't know.
those are
Never
the
mind.
sources it would pull on.
Depends on your history. No, I'm kidding. So you go to reach for that energy that you're used to tapping into, and you feel that reach dragged into a completely different direction, and the cage that you're touching turns into oatmeal. And that's where we're going to take a really quick break.
What?
It says everything you touch until your next turn turns into oatmeal.
Solved it. We win.
What?
This is what happens when we use this
Amazing.
rule. I was pulling from the wrong pile when I started, when I was like, wait, this doesn't look right. And I picked up the right pile for this kind of situation that I've made, and I pulled that card, and I was like, you've got to be shitting me. And I almost put it back in the deck, but I'm trying to play fair by these weird calls we've made.
I knew how to draw. That would be the fan art I would draw in this moment.
We do need someone to draw this. We need somebody to draw Yume holding on to this dire cage that has no doors and seems to be completely unopenable, and it just turns to oatmeal. That's a visual right there. And also, Yume, your hand is now...
It is a visual.
We are going to take a very quick break. We went over a little bit on our hour. So 5-minute break. Does that sound all right? Everybody good 5 minutes? Okay, so we will be back here 15 minutes after the hour. Stream. I swear we will be right back. I'll hang out and chat if anybody has any questions. So we'll be right back. Stream. Hello, Stream. We're back. Okay. So right before break, we we drew a card from the deck of wonder because one of our players rolled a nat 7, and that's something we agreed we were gonna do so that Shauna Spoon could practice her improv skills. And instead of a beautiful puzzle unraveling, we turned this. Turned this very shiny magic cage into a pile of oatmeal.
I did it. It's my fault.
It is your fault. Yes, it's all your fault.
I mean, but you didn't know. I can't imagine the person that has to clean up this train. In the first car, full of all the disarray of boxes, is the corpse of a mimic. Let alone, you keep going and it just gets worse.
It's for later us to worry about, feel bad about,
Yeah.
not feel bad about.
This has to be the strangest train to our characters. A tortoise shows up, I turn green, and then things turn to oatmeal.
Yeah, I think we decided to start using the deck of wonder on this train.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting. We can revisit after the train if we'd like to stop using it or use it less frequently, like it only happens once a session or something like that.
No, it's the best.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think it only has happened once a session, actually.
I'd have to go back. I don't know. I need to start. I'm going to start marking them DOW in the top of every page that happens on. But okay, so let's set the scene a little bit. Battle, you're standing next to Yume. You've asked how to get the creature out. Yume said, "Let me think about it," or I don't actually remember if Yume said that, but Yume did think about it. The cage turns to oatmeal. Freya, you were standing back keeping an eye on the guy that you cast hold person on that Shai was sitting on, and the situation with Winnie. Winnie, you're holding up, and you see the cage turn into oatmeal after Yume touches it. Winnie, you're holding the guy in a bear hug up against the wall. I don't know if you see the cage turn into oatmeal, or do you just hear, like, a squelching sound?
I think all I hear is a weird squelching sound, which is definitely going to make me look over my shoulder.
Yep, there's a pile of oatmeal where the cage used to be.
Did the aspect get pelted with oatmeal from the the cage above it?
All you're seeing is, all you can see is like a ball of sunshine that has like sunbeams coming out of it, and it doesn't appear to be dimmed by the oatmeal at all. No. You may. What is your reaction to the cage turning into oatmeal in your hands?
Her eyes widen. She is grossed out for just a second before her, what's the word? Drive, ambition, something like that comes back over her. She wipes her hands on the dress that isn't even hers, which I think is funny. That's something she would normally do. And reaches out to try. She'll try to hug it. Just try to wrap her arms around it. I don't know if that's possible, but she's gonna try.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good impulse from Yume. That sounds very Yume. Now I'm trying to remember, or let's decide what would happen to. You are technically a conduit to your patron because of your relationship. Does that sound reasonable?
Sure.
Then what if you hug the aspect. Let me get rid of this cage really quickly. There we go. So you step forward and hug the aspect to your chest. You're trying to comfort it, correct?
Yes.
And you feel somehow, maybe more instinct, you can feel that it's not up to full power, but as you're comforting it, it uses you as a conduit to sort of get back to the patron. So you sort of feel, so it's sort of like gloms in onto your chest, and then sort of you absorb it, and then you feel a pulse down that connection you have, whatever that feels like or looks like or whatever connection you have to your patron.
I want to pose something else to see what you like better.
Yes, please lay that
I
on
was
me.
also thinking that this might be a good time, just drama-wise, to summon Dandy back and just have him also part of this moment.
Oh yeah.
So when you're talking about that, like, would it make more sense? We've tossed around the word emissary for Dandy before.
Yep.
Would it make sense for the aspect to go through whatever's happening with Dandy or with Yume specifically?
Ooh. Yeah, because Dandy could be your connection.
Mm-hmm.
Right, from that emissary standpoint. Okay, so what if you're comforting the aspect, Dandy pops up on your shoulder, and sort of does his comfort thing, and the aspect gets absorbed into him. You still feel that pulse, right? Because you're connected to Dandy. Does that sound all right?
Yes, that makes more sense to me if it's going back to the patron that would go through Dandy.
That sounds perfect to me. As this is happening, you hear the happy buzzing from bumblebees, and you hear something along the lines of like a thank you, and it's echoed from the place that you normally hear things from your patron from. It's faint though. And yeah.
I'm gonna grab Battle's hands, covered in oatmeal. We did it. They're safe.
I love it.
And look over her shoulder at what's happening with the guards.
Okay. So the one guard is petrified. The other guard is being bear hugged by Winnie. Winnie, I think you're at least a head taller than this dude, so I think he can't see anything. I think he's still struggling though, but I think he's sort of mostly given up. He's not gonna try and like he's just like whatever. There's people piled. I'm doomed anyway. Like we let him in here in the first place, so he's sort of given up. What are y'all doing next?
I think Shy and probably slowly but surely Ren are going over to try to eat the oatmeal.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean that sounds right.
Because I mean, what animal wouldn't? I think also Battle definitely takes back Yume's hands in kind and just kind of looks around and embraces whatever's happening with kind of an eyebrow up.
Mm-hmm.
And is excited that we did it, but totally not understanding why or how.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. And what's Freya doing?
Freya is really confused by this whole oatmeal thing, but is mostly just like looking to Yume to be like, did we, is it done? Do we do it? Do we, right?
Mm-hmm. We did it.
Freya's
Oh,
like,
one of them are
yes!
still.
Paralyzed, right? Still frozen with.
Yeah, one of them's.
I think at this point, honestly, Freya would have probably broken concentration because of how
Because the
confused she
oatmeal?
was by the whole oatmeal.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
One moment, let me talk to the dog. Tear it down. Yeah, that sounds right. So he's gonna sit up. He sees the cage turn into oatmeal. He sees the thing he's supposed to be guarding disappear. He looks down at his hands. I don't think he's green anymore. Because I believe this has been more than a minute battle.
Sure.
So I think you're the only one.
I'm still green.
Yeah, because I think we said it's gonna last for 30 minutes.
Does the oatmeal have a sheen from my body? Am I shining on the oatmeal?
Yes. It's gross. It looks
And the
very
dog is
strange.
happy.
And the dog is happy, yes. Okay, and Winnie, what are you gonna do? Sorry, so the soldier that is no longer petrified sort of sees that he's not green anymore, sees that, the oatmeal and the aspect's gone, is like, whatever, and sits in the chair. He just sits in the chair. And Winnie, what are you doing with your soldier?
Does he still have his weapon on him?
Yes. It's sheathed, but yes.
I'm going to yell over my shoulder. Guys, what should I do here? I'm kind of just. I don't think I can hold them forever. What are we doing? What's the plan?
I think
Can
Yume
I-
will...
Mhm,
Go ahead.
I have some
Yume
rope.
will-
Sorry,
will
you
stand up confidently, just like pull her shoulders back, stand up straight, and take a couple steps towards the guards. I would like it if you tell me why my friend was here. Can you explain what this was all about?
Let's have you approach the guard that Winnie's, hanging on to. And he's gonna look at you and look at Winnie and just be like, we don't know. They don't tell us what they're doing. We just have to guard. They said guard. They said, don't let anyone in here. Our job was to guard this.
Who's
Okay,
they?
I believe you. You're gonna tell us who told you to do that.
We work for this company. This it's a huge family company. I don't know. Do you know any like gestures at the other guard? And the other guard's like, no, man, I just get my paycheck and stab people that try to come into the cars we're supposed to guard, and that's it. I don't
So you were
know.
given specific orders from the owners of this company to hold my friend in a magic cage?
The guy that Winnie's holding like rolls his eyes and he's like, no, I got orders from our captain. That captain got orders from his, I don't remember military things. His boss told him to do, like it got passed down the chain. I don't know where it originated or anything. Like, we move stuff like this all the time. There's always something weird in this. Do you remember what we moved last week? And the other guard's like, ugh, don't remind me. They're like, there's weird stuff in here all the time. We had to move a gelatinous cube once. Like, it's the worst.
Are any of your bosses
Freya
on
looks
this train
horrified
now?
at that.
Or are we gonna have to contact them another time?
What did you say, Yume?
Are any of your bosses on the train with us now? Or are we gonna have to contact them when we're off the train?
The guards are like, no, the bosses don't ride on the train. Like, our boss is is in the next town. That's where we were supposed to offload this, or we were supposed to offload this shiny thing.
That
And
sounds good.
we would have checked in there, but they're not on the train. No.
Yume pivots on her heel and gives her attention back to her friends. Just turns her back to the guards.
Well, I guess we know where we're getting off now.
Yeah, but who's gonna greet us when we get off?
I mean, maybe we can find some new clothes to change into and hide again? It'll be fine.
I think these two guards are gonna let us go because they saw all the weird magic that they're afraid of and all that we're capable of here.
We're
Right,
just
you
thinking
two?
we're gonna meet their boss in the
Or
next
they
town
could-
and drink it off.
They could take us to their boss because I am also a weird shiny thing.
This isn't the weird shiny thing you meant? Oops.
And
We must have gotten confused.
the guards are sort of trading looks like, what are we gonna do?
But do we want to do that? We don't know if there's multiple levels of bosses. We don't want to go into this lair.
That's fair.
You may... Do you... How do you want to pursue this?
I think we're fine. I think we can just get off this train in the next stop and go on our business. I don't think that these two are going to get in our way, and I think we can handle anything that comes up.
I want to... can I take some rope and have Winnie, will you help me tie this guy up on that other chair?
Oh.
Yep.
Great. Okay.
Excellent.
The other guard, when he sees what you're doing, sort of like positions his arms the same way you're positioning that one's arms, so like you can tie him up too.
Totally.
All right, so you tie up both of the guards. They seem resigned.
What are we
I'm
gonna
not sure
run
if I was
into?
communicating this well, but just for above board clarity, I was hoping to just be like, with charisma like persuade, not mechanically persuade them, but like persuade them to be like, no, you're just gonna listen to us now. Like you're done. Like we're in charge here. You're not gonna attack us or anything. But I'm totally cool with like Yumi's like, we don't need to tie them up, but totally fine with it at the same time.
I think the mood the soldiers are throwing are like, once the cage dissolved, right? Well, you got the drop on them first of all. That's terrible. They're bad at their jobs. Once the cage dissolved and the thing they were guarding was gone, like they are resigned to their fate, which isn't good. You know, and when you're like, I don't think these guards are going to give us any trouble, they're basically like, yeah, no, we're not going to. Nope. But you know, but they expect to be tied up because, you know, they're supposed to be guarding and things. So they just sort of like, yeah, sure, tie us up. This is good.
While Winnie's tying them up, she's just gonna be like, you know, you should really rethink your employment choices. Maybe you should find a job that isn't so shady.
This guy looks at you and he's like, why? It pays well. We don't have to hurt anybody that often, and I like trains.
So he's got some fair points.
Freya's like, he's got some good logic.
Are we gonna run into anything when we try to get off this train when it stops?
The guards look at each other and they say, one of them says, well, you're dressed right, except for the oatmeal, but they don't check tickets getting off the train. And no one's looking for you because we won't have reported in. They'll load off the entire train before they come to load this off. That's when they'll find us. That's when we'll have to report what happened. And then they'll start looking for you. So you'll probably have about a 45-minute head start.
Perfect.
Quite convenient. Can I search their bodies? Not that they're dead, but can I search their pockets?
Sure. Go for it.
Excellent. I search their pockets. What do I find?
Roll me
Are you looking for one of those keys?
Yeah.
What the hell is the... Roll me a search pockets check. Damn it. 1 second.
Perception? Investigation?
Investigation. That sounds good. Do that one. Roll an investigation check.
14.
Okay, so you're checking out the one that you tied up first. You do find one of those. You find one of those rings. It's a mix of all the metals from every door knocker you've seen. So he has access to every single door on the train.
That's convenient.
So there's a platinum-looking metal, a gold-looking metal, and a silver-looking metal, and a bronze-looking metal. Mm-hmm. All sort of like twisted into this. You also find a picture like in a leather folio that's like pocket size, like it's like a in a wallet kind of thing, and it's a drawing of what looks like a lady with a child, and he's like, please don't take that. And you also find a like a money pouch. It's got 12 coppers in it and 1 silver. Go ahead and that's all you find on him. You gonna?
I'm not gonna take his wallet or his money. I'm gonna give that back to him because, I mean, they've been relatively complacent. We're not here to. I don't know. I don't feel like that'd be something Battle would take.
Okay. Are you gonna check the other one?
Yeah. You want me to roll again or?
Yes.
Oh. 23.
Awesome.
Not 19.
Sorry, I am making a note really quickly because that was a really nice thing you just did.
Winnie's gonna be like, "What kind of example are you setting for your children?"
Winnie's just gonna
shady company like this.
And he's like, "Come on, lady. Like, I gotta pay the bills." Like, so you search the other guard battle and you find a similar money pouch. This one has 2 silver in it and 5 copper. He also has a ring. They both got swords and they both got daggers. I meant to mention that. And he has a love letter in his pocket. This one's a little younger than the other soldier. It is badly spelled and has reeks of perfume. Clearly, whatever girl wrote this just poured perfume on it. And he looks super embarrassed when you start to unfold it, and he like turns bright red.
I don't open or read it
Adorable.
because I don't want to embarrass him. I just wanted to make sure that we had everything we needed on this journey. So I notice and I fold it back up and put it in his pocket.
He is still bright red, and the other guard's like, seriously, dude? And he's like, shut up. I don't want to talk about it.
Oh no, do you have a magic illness too?
Maybe we're gonna slowly turn into the rainbow. I put the money back in his pocket as well.
He looks up at the ceiling and is just like shaking his head a little bit, like I today's not happening. I hate this. Thanks, I hate it.
I think I take the other ring out of his pocket and extend it to Freya, maybe, since she's the next closest person when I'm searching the other card.
Mm-hmm.
Freya will take it and is very excited about it and just keeps turning it over and over in her hands.
Yeah, to remind you about these rings, they're about 6 inches. I guess I can't remember how radius works. Is it from the center? So I guess it'd be a 3
Radius
or 4.
The radius is the center diameter.
Okay. 6 inches across. I liked the stereo effect there. So 3 or 4-ish inches a radius. So it's a good size. It's a little too big to wear as like a bracelet. And all the guards you've seen, they've been hanging on on a clip on their belt. But it is very shiny. And the one that you've got has a very interesting marble effect. Like the first one that Battle picked up had a very uniform swirl to it. Yours has sort of it kind of goes back and forth instead of just an even spiral. It sort of like shifts back and forth. It's very pretty. Okay, you have searched both guards thoroughly. You now have to wait until this train arrives at its next destination. What do y'all do next?
Do we know how we're getting off? Like, is the only way off to get to the other cars, or like to the front of the train or the back of the train?
I think you know that if you stay here, you'll be discovered when they come to unload the aspect that's missing. He did point out that you're still dressed nicely, so you could probably go back into the other cars and act as passengers. He mentioned that they don't check. They don't check tickets on the way off, so you can exit as customers if you want.
Should we go back into one of the other cars and pretend to be normal people?
Oh, for sure. We should, like, which car do they let out first? Let's go back to that car. Wait, are there still guards in the last car that are mad at us? Or
Wasn't there at least one?
Because they didn't follow us both in.
No, he did. He came back into the...
Oh, he came back in. Okay.
Yeah, the one that you petrified you cast Hold Person on so well, was the one that was, like, swung a sword at you originally, and that you sort of bullied into taking you into... He followed you into the car. This car.
Then yeah, let's just jump back into one of the cars.
Okay, which one do you want to head to? Because you have a key that will let you do whatever you want.
I asked the most amenable guard which is the cards that they let off first.
And he says, well, they usually let the posh ones off first. That's in first class. That'll be... and he says...
In the back of the car.
Yeah.
Dog.
I don't
the
know if
dog.
it's wise for us to go all the way back to the front, though,
Yeah,
because
I
I'm
think
still
we should-
glowing. How long is this train ride?
Several hours. This will wear off.
I think
before
we
you
should
get-
hang out
But you don't know
here
that yet.
until, like, right before the next stop. And then we just, like, and we hope the battle's not green anymore. If she is, we just cover her with a cloak and shuffle her out and say we just need to get her out really quickly.
Okay. Is that what y'all want to do?
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Yep.
I might have a false sense of security here, but it feels very low pressure. Like, it doesn't seem like there's anything standing in our way. We just wait a little bit and walk off the train.
Yeah, that does seem to be what you're looking at.
Plus, there's oatmeal. We have a snack already.
It's on the floor. It's gross.
If the dog hasn't eaten all of it.
I mean, Ren's taking some good chomps.
I feel like oatmeal is not good for dogs.
It's magic oatmeal.
In small portions.
Magic
they're-
oatmeal.
I'm learning that whole grains are actually decent for dog. You shouldn't feed your dog a grain-free diet because it's good for their heart. So a little bit's okay.
It has the nutritional value of, like, good berries.
There we go. The
Okay.
question is oatmeal bad for turtles?
I have no idea. I know a little bit about dogs and cats and a little bit about horses, and that's it as far as
Could we
Spoon's
hand
real life
wavy that-
knowledge. We're gonna say he's fine. I'm not gonna poison your
Magic
turtle with some
oatmeal
magic
is-
oatmeal.
yeah.
No, it's okay. So I think that's where we're gonna call the session tonight. Because I think that's a nice pat ending. We'll start the next session with y'all leaving the train, or whatever, and we'll move on to our next adventure after that. Does that sound reasonable? All right.
Yes.
I have a couple of questions for you, which actually I'd like to ask you after we do our wrap up. So let's do that first. So I would like. Oh, right. I was like, I do two things. I do role playing points. I do what else? Yeah, it's been a while. So one thing I like to ask you all to do after a session is tell me what you learned. I write that down because it's a good reminder for next time. Then we'll go into role-playing points. I accept nominations from the players for moments that they felt were really good role-playing moments from their fellow players. I also accept nominations from chat. So chat, if you've got any opinions on a really good role-playing moment and you'd like to see the players vote on it, let me know in just a minute. But first, what did y'all learn today?
I learned that Yume can turn things into oatmeal, and that's amazing.
I also learned that Yume absorbs balls of light in a very tender and loving way.
Well, Dandy did that technically.
We did it
Oh, yeah.
together.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was very bright. Who can be sure of what actually happened?
Actually, yeah, the assumption that Yume absorbs balls of light is totally, like, it was just a ball of light and it sort of disappeared around her and Dandy. So yeah, I accept that. Great. What else did you learn?
Glowing green gets you everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You should tell Quentin that.
And
Yeah.
Winnie learns that when
If
she's
we ever
upset,
if we ever
she
have a
can just
crossover, we
attack.
can bestow that lesson upon him.
Yeah, people keep talking about doing a crossover, so we might just have to do that. What did you
Don't let
say,
me bully you into it.
Winnie? Oh, you won't. It's just a good excuse. What did you say, Winnie?
Winnie learned that when she's upset, she can just, attack somebody and it calms her down.
Yeah, there's a lesson there, I think.
We can't forget that we learned that Ren hates noses.
Yes, that's a very important thing. All right.
And also that Ren's trying to be a miniature dog.
I hope that's okay. I think it's cute.
That's 1,000% okay.
Oh, I learned that there aren't, like, a team of bad guys here on the train holding my patron's aspect. There's, like,
Yeah.
a paid delivery job. I came into this thinking, like, there's a squad here, like, defending it, sitting with it. But no, it's just unaware paid help.
Yeah. A delivery job is a good way to put that. Yeah. They don't know what these things are. I think they trust in obscurity to get obscurity for security, right? Like if there's a squad of dudes on this train, it would look weird. So they just make it look like black market smuggling type stuff. Cool. Anything else you want to roll into RP point? All right, let me get that set up. Got some fun humans in chat. So we are going to, we're now going to talk about role-playing moment nominations. I accept them from chat, and I will, and the players will vote on which one they liked the best. Players, what did you feel were good role-playing moments this evening?
I really appreciated the flair of Winnie wiping her nose before battling this guy.
Uh-huh.
That was really good.
I really liked how Yume handled like all of the interactions with the glowy.
Yeah, that felt very Yume, you know, wanting to comfort it and wanting to free it and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure the oatmeal was really Yume, but it is now.
Great though.
Good. Other good moments.
Can Ren and Shy get role-playing points for sitting on top of the guy and looking proud of themselves and then running over and eating oatmeal?
Yeah, Battle will end up getting that point. But yeah, we can nominate Shy and Ren for sitting on the downed soldier and then running over to eat oatmeal, because those were both things that Battle directed. Yeah, if it were something that I suggested, I wouldn't put it up for nomination because it's cheating. But yeah, other good role playing. That's a good one. Thank you for mentioning that. Other good moments. I think Battle might have a lot of moments that come through Shy and Ren, right? Like you're using them as, yeah, the way you're using them I think is very interesting. Cool. Other good role playing moments? Are you ready to vote? Any from chat? I can't tell if Telesaur wants shiny green oatmeal as gross to be a role-playing moment or not. Telesaur said they tuned in late. Okay. Well, I'm happy to let you all vote on those three. We've got the flair of Winnie wiping her nose before battling the soldier, the way Yume handled all of the interactions with the glowy, and I did write it down just like that, and Shy and Run for sitting on the downed soldier and then running over to eat oatmeal. Go ahead and vote. You guys are going to vote with emotes. Yume, let me know if you want me to slap something on there. Got it. Okay, so we've got Shy and Run for sitting on the downed soldier and then running over to eat oatmeal. Took the votes. Yeah. Telesaur was saying that the shiny green oatmeal is gross is something you all learned this evening.
It's true.
Yeah. All right, so Battle, you're going to take that point for next time. This, as far as getting back into playing D&D after more than a month, this, I love my other two campaigns, but I'm kind of glad it was with you guys because I knew something wacky would happen and we would just have to roll with it. I knew I'd lose some kind of notes, and because of what you were working with here, I knew I'd be able to hand wave some of it, and you're all just very nice. So thank you for being patient with me, and thank you for playing with me. I'm very excited that we're still a group this. I think it's neat. I wanted to ask you a couple of questions about the next bit of your adventure. So far we have done a module, and then we did whatever you want to call this.
I'm excited to have an arc about someone else.
Got it. Okay, arc about someone else. Got it. We formed as a group to run through that one module, and so I'm checking in with you to see if you still want to play. Feel free to respond offline if you'd like, but that is a question. The other thing is your original sort of mission statement was to be heroes, right? You're a group that formed to go save things. You've been inside someone's mind and you've done a train heist. Is there an environment or a particular kind of problem you'd like to tackle. You don't need to answer me now, but I'd like you to think about it. Or if you do have ideas now, that would be awesome. A system that I did use recently with another campaign that I thought was kind of neat was a rumor system. So if you can't think of anything, that's what I'm going to suggest is we will figure out together rumors as characters, as your characters, and then I'll pick one of those for us to go hunt down. But does anybody have any ideas? Anything do you want to investigate the bottom of a lake or the tippy top of a mountain? Do you want a traditional dungeon?
Yeah.
This group hasn't done that yet.
I think like a traditional dungeon or like just a treasure hunt. Sounds interesting.
Okay. Anybody else?
I think it'd be super cool to do like a dungeon or a crypt.
Okay.
I love all things puzzle solving.
Puzzle solving, got it. Any other suggestions? You can give suggestions. I promise I won't focus it on you.
No, I have no ideas right now, but I'll think on it.
Okay.
For just like general themes, like types of things we'd like to get into in a broad sense.
Yeah, I think let's head in a dungeon direction. That sounds good. That was because I can work in. The reason you need to go to that dungeon is to hunt treasure, and I can work puzzles in there. That would be pretty easy. So the next session will be setting up that adventure, and I'll figure out some fun RP for y'all to do. I think you have to get off this train, and knowing y'all, it'll take 3 sessions. It can't possibly be as easy as you just getting off the train with the other what do you call people that ride
Passengers?
trains? Passengers. Clearly, I'm tired. Yeah, it can't be that easy, right? Like that's. Chiron Rustmore suggested a murder mystery. Does that sound appealing at all?
Sure.
Maybe not for this one. We'll do a dungeon for this one, but maybe a murder mystery. I have to say...
Yeah, we are all about saving people, so...
Yeah, I have to say, the one murder mystery one I've run did go really well, but it took forever. So I'll have to think about that. But yeah. Yeah, dungeons are fun because I can auto-generate them. I can generate just all kinds of maps, and I can tie it into a story fairly easily. So that'll be a good sort of restful next arc for me. And knowing y'all, it'll just go off the rails in the most entertaining ways. I've gotten a lot of comments about people who have watched the VODs later. They've been like, this group, and I'm like, I know. They're amazing. And just to confirm, you do want to continue using the Deck of Wonder when anyone rolls a Nat 7? Do you want to limit it? Okay. Do you want to limit it at all?
No, we want to make your life fun.
It's not harder. I mean, it's more challenging. It's a good challenge.
I would hope for 1 per session.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that
1 per session,
kill, but
yeah.
I think it takes a little.
Oh, that's a pun.
Yes, thank you. It is fun for wild magic things to happen, but if say 2 happen in a session, it would take. It would make it a little bit less special.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Is everybody else
a little bit too coincidental?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm also trying to figure out a reason these things are happening. I almost had an idea when you did the oatmeal thing that I could link the green thing to, and the turtle.
I don't know if we can blame Oatmeal on the mistress.
It doesn't always have to be the mistress.
Exactly.
It doesn't. The cage made sense to be the mistress because, but, okay, so do we all agree? Yeah?
I think my only concern with limiting it to 1 time is, like, if you're the person who rolls a 7 the second time, that sucks. Because nothing cool happens.
That is fair.
Once per player per session?
Yeah. I don't think we've done it more than once a session so far.
I take it back. I don't think we need the limiting.
No, don't take it back. I like the idea of having it be 1 per per character. Random guy says
Usually
DM's
it's like
discretion.
a 5% chance of happening.
I know, but like if all
At any
4 of
roll.
you like roll nat 7s like 4 times in one session, it's gonna be a little bonkers. So yeah, let's
We could also adjust then.
let's loosely let's play it by ear. But yeah, what I'm hearing is at the core of what I'm hearing is you like the idea, but it can get a little out of hand. So let's sort of play it by ear. Does that sound fair?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
We'll keep using it. All right. Well, I'm happy to let you all go back to your real lives, and we will figure out when we're going to play next. Maybe next Saturday. You will be able to find me on Tuesday, not tomorrow. I don't have anybody lined up for brunches tomorrow. So Tuesday we should be back with Treasure Tuesday. We will have all new art by Randall Hampton for each of the characters, which you can see him draw 2 of them. And we had a discussion about how to deal with character generation and character integration and all kinds of character stuff in his, I think it's on the Geeks Like Us channel. So that's where you can find me next, and then we should be playing next Saturday, I believe. I've been trying to line up a doggos, but I've only got 1 doggo, so if anybody wants to be a doggo, let me know. So you might see me there. Where is there anybody want to share where they might be found on the internet in the next week or so?
I can share. I will be DMing a game, gaming a one-shot tomorrow on Fabled 42's channel to support Wounded
cool.
Warrior Project.
Oh, that's right. I saw a
So
tweet about that.
So that's from 1 to 3 Pacific. It's with a bunch of players I don't know, so it should be a lot of fun.
It looks like a good lineup.
The players all came highly recommended, and from our chat, at least figuring out characters, it looks like they are really ready to have a good time. So I'm excited about that. And then right after that, so the game is from 1 to 3 Pacific, and then at 3:30, from 3:30 to 4:30, we'll be talking about playing therapeutically applied RPGs with veterans. So should be fun.
Oh, is this the one? Did you workshop some of this in the Discord?
Yes, I did workshop some of this.
Yeah,
It's gonna be great.
Lisor is in the chat for the stream, and she was like, I helped.
Oh, yes. It's very helpful.
It was very helpful. It looked very cool. Yeah. All right. Anybody else going to be findable on the internet that you'd like to talk about in my stream?
I play various games, but usually Fortnite on Wednesday nights on Queer Women of Esports Twitch. That's twitch.tv/queeresports.
Mm-hmm.
And then on, I'm very excited that Take This is doing something called Wisdom Save Weekend next weekend. And I will be moderating the Wisdom Save panel featuring Kelly Butler or the Opera Geek, Gabe Hicks, Jennifer Kretschmer, and Satine Phoenix.
Damn, that's a good group
tune
too.
into that next week. I know, I'm very nervous.
When is that? Is that over the weekend?
That's next on Friday the 20th, from 4 to 5 Pacific on Take This Twitch, I believe.
Very cool. All right, we got a big week coming up, it sounds like. Anything else to add? Okay.
That's all.
Well, with that, I will say, we will say good night, stream, and we will see you soon. Everybody say bye, stream.
Bye, stream.